सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. महायोगी स्वामी उमानंद सरस्वती की जय. Well, we are on our 50th question. It's the 15th video for English speaking group on Siddha Yoga. What is Shaktipat? This is the highest, the best way in which one's Guru connects with you and sets you on the journey of spiritual path. I think there is no return. You have to be going onward. It's an onward journey. It's a ticket to the onward journey towards spiritual enlightenment. So Shaktipat, it is actually initiation. It means initiation. There are 4 ways of initiating. There are 4 ways of Shaktipat. When the Guru transmits his energy into you and we start our spiritual journey. First way of initiating, when you go initially to a master, before you don't know anything about the journey. Maybe you are a person with trouble, or you are curious to know about spiritual journey, or you are already aware the importance of journey, and therefore you go. So we have Trasta, one who is very troubled mind. When he goes to the Guru, first time, what can happen? The moment he goes into a Guru's abode, sometimes the silence or the peace just influences him. He feels at peace. His mind is very troubled, and then he goes into, somebody gives him the address that here is a master, or here is a spiritual person, or here is a Guru. And you tend to go there because you are troubled. You have certain problems. And then you go, and the moment you go in, your mind experiences peace. Just the ambience around, just that you see the Guru, and suddenly you feel at peace with the world. You feel, all right, this might be the place. Or you may not even think of all this. You might just be at peace with yourself. Moment you go to an ashram, somebody guides you to sit somewhere, and then you sit in front of the Guru, and the Guru walks in, or the Guru is seated there, and the Guru gives you a glance. There is no exchange of much words, but suddenly either you feel like crying. You are a troubled person, so you feel like crying. And the Guru doesn't disturb, and nobody comes, disturbs you, just lets you cry. And the Guru allows you to cry. And then maybe a simple word like, what's happened? That is enough for us to make you feel at peace. It's like a gentle touch of a very kind mother or a very kind father who has sort of reached out to you verbally, and you feel safe now, or you're protected now, or you feel let the emotions, they get flooded out of you. You start weeping. You are allowed to weep for some time, and then slowly you tend to calm down. Now this is just Drikadiksha. A holy person, when only looks at you, when you are in a troubled state of mind, you tend to weep. We call it Ashta Sattvic Bhav. all your emotions get flooded, and there's no much exchange of anything. There's no concept of knowledge passed on. Nothing. It's just a beautiful touch of kindness, probably. Kindness should be the correct word. Kindness, that kindness you experience, and it puts your mind at peace. This is, Diksha is actually the prabhav, the influence of a guru, which totally makes you feel, well, this is where I would like to be. Or maybe this is what I was missing for a long time. Something very soft and gentle and kind. That is Drikadiksha. Drikadiksha. Then of course you tend to ask, you tend to get familiarized with the situations, and then after some time you want to know what is the system here, how to go about it in the ashram, what are the rules and regulations, and then you take a day off, you go back, and then you discuss with people, and then probably you are asked that, all right, you can take a mantra today, or you can go in for an initiation program. Now, normally an initiation program is a day when you go to a guru, when you are ready, your mind is ready to be initiated on a path. But sometimes the guru may feel that you're not ready for it. Sometimes the guru may feel that you're not ready for it. I remember when I went to Param Puja Guruni Maharaj, my first guru. Along with me, I had a few other people who had come. They were being asked by Maharaj to read some books. They were given some books. They were not called directly for initiation. They were given some books to read. They said, you read these books and then come back. But for me, luckily for me, I was told, yes, you can be initiated tomorrow morning. Now this was something, I was just 14 at that age. I was just 14. Before I had probably entered a worldly world, my mind was probably, and of course those people who had come with me, they were elderly people, their minds had a set philosophy, a set thought. So they were given some books, you read these and then you come back. But luckily for me, I was told, all right, you come the next day. So the next day morning, 5 o'clock, I was there and I wanted now to be initiated. I went in and Maharaj came in. And he kept he initiated me by pressing here, and he sort of dragged his thumb right from the center of my eyebrow up to the head and just tapped me. Just tapped me. Whatever it was, I used to meditate earlier, but I went into deep meditation. Later, when I went to my Umanand Saraswati's ashram, there also I was received. I was told, actually, you are initiated, but I said, I would like to be initiated again. I would like to be initiated again. Because at the age of 14, maybe Maharaj was too great, but my receptivity, my understanding or my perseverance, or whatever you call it, probably was not done enough. So I just needed another chance, I would say. And I went to Umanand Saraswati's ashram. This was after a long struggle between 15 to 30. The 15 years in between was a struggle period. It was a struggle period. At the age of 15, it was a very beautiful, bountiful period, and I was curious about the gurus. Or I was fascinated, or maybe I was drawn towards it since my childhood. I was wanting to know. I used to sit in front of Lord Krishna as idol in the room, and I used to keep on offering butter and wait for him to come out and eat. And I used to sit and cry there. So why don't you come? Why don't you come? And my mother used to say, this child is, I'm worried about this child. My father used to say, I'm worried about it. At that time, I had met Gaurani Maharaj, who initiated me. So I went into a lot of meditation. I used to practice meditation for hours together, hours together, hours together. There were many gods. I saw almost every god in meditation. I had the fortune of seeing how many gods. I used to see them walking across. I used to be... it was a beautiful period, 15 years. But then somehow something else was required. After a couple of years after that, I got into a very difficult state of life. It was bad. So when it went on, maybe I was disconnected from meditation and I was into a struggling period. And then I came probably to another point where I was slightly frustrated. And then I was again on the lookout for a master. And my Gurudev had come to me earlier. We had met. I was with her for 5 years before. From almost 20 to 25, 23, 4 years. I was in the company of my Gurudev, Umanand Saraswati. But again, as I said, I went into a very different life, and everything ended up in a very a chaotic state. But gradually again, because I was probably initiated earlier, I knew that this probably will give me a foundation, and I went back to Umanand Saraswati. And when I went back to Umanand Saraswati, I asked for initiation. She said, you are already initiated. So I said, still, I'd like to be initiated again. So, because, I needed to make my progress on spiritual journey. And then she allowed me to come the next day, the next Sunday. Every Sunday they initiated. And after that, the day I sat there, before she had come in, with my eyes closed, when the full entire hall got filled with blue light. This emerged from her room, and gradually it encompassed the entire ashram. It was full of that blue light, and there was no more ashram. Walls were not there. And I could feel like how Arjun had this Vishwaroop darshan, where everything, all the directions disappeared, sky disappears, everything disappears. Something similar happened to me, and everything around me vanished, except that there was a blue light, and the sky was full of blue light. And I saw on Nandi, I saw my Guru and descending from there. And she came quite up to a certain height. I could see her with my eyes, of course, closed, but I could see her. And she just said, so you've come. As if there was an expectation, as if I was being expected, and she was expecting me. Same thing happened to Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. When Adi Shankaracharya went to his Guru, the Guru was meditating in the cave, and Adi Shankaracharya was a boy of 16, was standing out, 14 was standing out. So he tells all the devotees that I would like to meet the Guru, and please inform him that I have come. So they laughed. They said it was a childish expression of a boy, they thought, to have declared that he has come. He says, please tell Guru that I have come. But however, when the Guru, he went in, Shankaracharya went in, Guru said, I waited for you for 100 years. It's now that you have come. This is mesmerizing. This is mesmerizing. Same thing when I went there. She just came, she was seated on a Nandi, and she looked down at me. She was at a great height. Her size was huge. Everything was huge, what I saw. And then she just said, so you've come. As if finally you've come. and of course, after that my life changed. After that my life changed. And there's a lot to tell, but I just want to tell you what is Shaktipat. Now she came actually in the hall. Gurudev came. She initiated all of us. I was again re-initiated. And I went in, I told her, I saw you as Uma, I said. I could have said Parvati, but I said I saw you as Uma. So she had asked for a book on which she had signed Umananda Saraswati. She had signed Umananda Saraswati. So I was like, I had no idea. I used to know her as Kusumtai Sharma. So I said, who's Umananda Saraswati? So the people told me, yes, the people told me, her sannyas, ascetic name was Umanand, given by Muktanand Baba. So it so happened that I just have to do away with this. Please give me a second. Yes. Then I got initiated. Now this was Sparsha Diksha. Sparsha Diksha, Drika Diksha, Sparsha Diksha. That was, she actually gave me it is as good as called, it's also called Veda Diksha. And I knew something was going to happen, something different would happen now in my life. Yes, at that time I don't know, a lot of probably I was, the frustrating life I had lived ended up, and I realized it. There was something very definitely good going to happen. That was enough for me. I just went back with more confidence to deal with the situations in life. And before I went, of course, then I was given the mantra. The mantra was announced on the mic when she said, and she said it beautifully. Guru, 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 Guru. That was mantra given. So somehow there was Drika Diksha I had, Sparsha Diksha I had, Mantra Diksha I had, Veda Diksha I had. These were, and the fourth was the Sankalpa Diksha. Sometimes Sankalpa Diksha is given when you're probably not in the direct presence of the Guru. The Guru may be elsewhere somewhere and you may be somewhere else. But the person wants to be initiated. The person wants to be initiated. And I get letters and I get people from different communities, they want to also get initiated. They send to me. I normally tell them to take a particular time when I'll be sitting here for meditation and they will be sitting there in their room. So they sit there and I sit here. Now I think something Sankalpa Diksha is happening now through this Kundalini Yoga program on Google Meet, on Google Meet. Now what is happening, we are giving is Sankalpa Diksha. Mantra Diksha and Sankalpa Diksha is being given. Yes, in Sankalpa Diksha, yes, I pray to my Guru. I pray to my Guru and I say, if I've served you well, if I've done my duties, if I'm humbly requesting you that these people who are in front of me need to be initiated and their Kundalini needs to be risen, awakened. And they are experiencing it. They are experiencing it. So Shaktipat is initiation. Initiation of four kinds we say. We saw Drika Diksha, Mantra Diksha, Veda Diksha, that's called Sparsha Diksha also, and Sankalpa Diksha. There are four types of Diksha which we have. Now, will a family man be able to achieve this yoga? It is. Any person whether family, whether ascetic, whether single, anyone can achieve this yoga, Siddha Yoga. It is for everyone. It's just that you need to feel that the person, master you have made, you can look upon him or her. You can look upon him or her as a guru, as a teacher. Because the teacher needs to impart knowledge. It's a very beautiful two disciples, aspirants, spiritual seekers. They go to a master and they say, both of them say, we would like to be initiated and we would like to learn. So he says, why not? He says, you can stay with me and then I will teach you whatever I can. Or you can come regularly. He asks the first one, he says, what knowledge have you got about spiritual world? So he said, I've studied 4 Ved and I've studied Shastra, 6 Shastra, but I still would like to be guided. He asks the second boy, he says, what have you studied? So he says, I'm sorry sir, I have not done much. I have not studied much. I would like to be guided from you right from the beginning, ABC. So he says, both of you come, I shall guide you also and him also. So they say, what sort of fees do we offer you? So he tells the one who has studied everything, he tells him, you pay me $250 per month. And to the person who has not studied anything, he says, you pay me 5 rupees per month. So both of them look at each other and they say, sir, why this discrimination? Why do I pay you 250 and he pays 5? As a matter of fact, I have studied something. So he says, that's the problem. I'll have to first wipe away whatever you have studied so I can write more clearly on that. Yes, I had also gone to Guru Maharaj, then Muktanand Baba. When I went to Muktanand Baba after I had been to Guru Maharaj, and I went to Muktanand Baba. So first thing he says, you've already been initiated. I said, I've been initiated. So he said, you've already been initiated, so why have you come to me? Why have you come to me? So I said, I want to be blessed by all the saints in the world. So I want to be, now my only dream is to be the best, the most enlightened, the best that I can be. I mean, I want to really be the best guru in the world. And I want to be the most enlightened person in the world, whatever that experience might be. I just want it. I want to experience it, whatever that state might be. And I hope I attain it. I hope I attain it. Now this is Shaktipat. This is Shaktipat. And any person who would like to do it, don't worry, you don't have to leave the family. I have gone through a proper family life. I have a son, I have a grandson. And all of you can have these lifestyles. There's nothing wrong in that. Just whenever you do something like spiritual sadhana, just be humble, just be grateful, just be curious to know, and follow a few rules, and you start living a beautiful spiritual life. So you can, with the grace of Guru, because all the Kundalini journey is made by the grace of Guru. Whenever my Guru used to say very sweetly, she says, you're not going to see God unless I want you to see it. You're not going to see it because you're meditating. You will see it only when I want you to see it. I said, this is not fair, I used to say to her. No, I said, this is not fair, then you better want it. And this is a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful journey. How could the home we live in become a place worthy of worship? Try and include all in the house in some way. If the father does it, obviously he can influence the wife and the children. If the mother alone does it, probably the children may not get influenced so much. However, I was influenced by my mother to go into this initiation program. But my father was highly into studying and imparting knowledge and telling us right from childhood. He used to read. Of course, his subject was Urdu and history and all, but he used to make it so interesting. He used to read about the Ghalib, or he used to read about, and he used to translate Aurangzeb's diaries. He used to translate stories like Sohrab Rustam. It's a very beautiful. And then in the evening, he used to sit down. We all used to sit near him, and he used to tell us the stories in our language, Marathi. So this probably became my nature, or might be in my genes. So even I started, whatever I started experiencing through Guru Maharaj's experience, Muktan Baba's grace, my Gurudev's grace. So whatever I learned from them, by evening or whenever I would meet somebody, I would share those experiences. I had a lot to talk about. I used to talk about it. And yes, and that's how I kept on. So even in the house, wherever I was, you can make the place of worship. You can have a Bhairav Guha, your own little cave in the house, because it's safest place. Safest place. There are no wild beasts around you. If you go to a very hilly place or a mountain place, you don't know. I mean, everybody may not feel so comfortable being alone up there. I'm a very yes, I'm a person who can get scared very easily. I might even get scared of dogs on the streets when I have to walk. So I prefer to be in my own room for meditation. And the safest place, you make your own house a Bhairav Guha, a cave. But of course, it should be a very accommodating thing. You should be kind to all the members in the house. Your meditation and all should not be a reason to keep your family members away from you. Be as loving as you can. Be as kind as you can. You don't need, your nature has to be from within. You just have to be curious about God and grateful to God. So the home, the place in which you can live also can be a beautiful ashram place, like ashram it can be. Of course, you have to be balanced. Your attitude to everyone should be lovingly for everyone. You should not show as if that you are someone special and therefore you need your space. No, just be your normal self. Be normal. Be normal. Is blissful experience to be considered as ultimate experience? Bliss will be crowned by peace. You have sorrows and joys, yes. Sometimes when you are happy, you know what are sorrows. When you don't get what you want, you can feel very sorrowful about it. You grieve over it. Then you want simple examples you can take. If you want to go for a movie, if you go for a movie, you want to go for a movie and then you don't get a chance to go, you feel sorry. So there are moments of joy. Opposite, when you experience joy in moments of your life, then there are sorrows which are going to come. But beyond that is bliss. Whether you go or not, you're still okay with it. Now, not only okay with it, you are at peace with it. It's a very beautiful stage, probably. I do experience, maybe out of 10. Earlier I used to maybe have my sorrows and joys 50-50. Then came, when it became bliss, it must have been about 70 and 30 of grief, let's say. And when it came to peace, it's now about 90 and 10. So joyous moments are 9, and maybe one of the restless moment might be of grief or sorrow. I won't call it grief, but something probably, I would say, I have to ignore it. That's about all. So this is a very nice experience. You move on from the proportion of joy increases to the proportion of sorrow as you make your spiritual journey. And as you go towards the joy, it becomes slightly more and more. And then finally you realize it's a blissful state. Actually, I'll give you the idea of what bliss is. For a spiritual person, whenever you are into meditation trance or when you are studying and you are gaining knowledge, and when you understand what that difficult shlok might mean or whatever the reality is, then that moment of bliss floods you. You have understood something. The moment comes and then you share it with somebody. That becomes a moment of joy. So earlier, a blissful experience, the Rishi Munis or sages thought, gaining of knowledge and imparting it to others, that itself was a joyous moment. That itself was a joyous moment. But the moment when you are attaining it, you are understanding it from the universe to you directly. Yes, these moments come to you. Recently during my Shiva Sutra program, I was just wondering, I said, how should I explain this particular concept? How should I explain Atma? And suddenly the inner voice came and told me, do you ask yourself where you are? So I said, no. Well, because you already know, the knower in you is Atma. It came so easily. Another time, another beautiful experience. I was asking my Gurudev, I said, how do I explain Brahma and Maya? She just emerged out of the idol. I have an idol in the ashram, her murti in the ashram. She emerged from it and she said, who are you? So I said, I am Radhika. So she said that I in you is Brahma and Radhika is the name of the form that is Maya. Now this emergence of knowledge, this emergence of understanding, realization, those moments are blissful. After this moment, I was for about 7 hours locked up on my sofa, wondering I'm just trying to understand I and Radhika, the name. And I went into a complete journey of thoughts. They were all beautiful. When you have worldly thinking, you do, and your head becomes heavy it becomes. And when it is a spiritual thought you come to you, your joy becomes boundless. The understanding becomes boundless. Sometimes this understanding becomes creative. I was able to compose almost about 100 songs. There was a span, almost a year of it. Every time I meditated, some songs were born which were based on various philosophies of God. So this is experiencing an ultimate experience. Now, what are the various advantages of being initiated? First of all, I'll tell you, initiation, you get enrolled in a school of thought. For a journey, you get enrolled. You have a teacher, you have a journey, you have a plan. Your curiosities will be answered and taken care of. Your physical fitness starts improving. Yes, after initiation, earlier probably every alternate month I used to be having temperature, fever. But now for last years and years, I don't remember. I mean, that's the grace. The physical fitness starts improving. Mental also. Of course you have problems, but out of 20, 30 problems, they come down to 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 problems which keep on because you are still connected. So about 2 or 3 problems, they can become the highlight of your day, but they can be sidetracked easily. Then intellectual pursuit starts. You start wanting to know what about God. You want to know about God. And that pursuit makes you go into different readings, so intellectual pursuit starts. It's a beautiful journey. Vyas had written so much. He had edited Ved, he had done many books. Of course, Vyas, we name Vyas Purnima after him, sage Vyas. But one day he was very sad. He said after writing so much, no person gets enlightened, no person is being enlightened. They're still not turning towards God. At that time, Narad Muni comes and says, why don't you write something? This expresses your capacity, your knowledge. Why don't you write something about God? So Bhagavad is what he wrote. Yes, I have written Bhagavad in a nutshell. Someday maybe I'll take a 1, 2 or 3 lectures. I'll give you the entire gist of Bhagavad. Gist of Bhagavad. So something like that the knowledge starts your intellectual pursuit. Now you keep on going after it. Every day you feel that there is ocean of knowledge yet left to be tapped. Yet left to be tapped. Now this happens with Shaktipat. And of course the soul as it is, peace, it is Atmiyata. You start feeling all are dear to you. People become very dear to you. Everybody, now not only the people, sometimes you see the cows on the streets, the dogs on the streets. You feel there is something reaches out to them. You want to do something for them. If there's a poor, you want to reach out, do something for them. So this sort of an Atmiyata, your soul reaches out to the people. It could be kindness, it could be affection, and it could be when I went to Benares to stay, I used to see the cows on the streets, and they almost felt like the 36 crore God which we have, Chattis Koti, 36 crores of gods. I used to feel they're all moving in the form of these cows because they used to have such gentle look in their eyes. Once I was cornered in a lane, and I was on one side, and the lane was very narrow. In Benares, the lanes are very narrow. And I had just sought darshan in one of the temples, and I came out. And the lane was narrow. On the other side of it, there was a huge cow. And of course, while coming, I was a little scared. I didn't know how I would bypass her. But then she very gently leaned against the wall. Even her head and posture were as if to make way for me. I was so touched by that. I get very influenced by kindness of people. If person is kind to me, to anyone, kind to us, that is what probably God is. God is kind to us. That's why we get influenced by Him. He is kind. My Gurudev was kind to me. Yes, I think I needed that at that moment. When I went to my Gurudev, probably because of my frustrations, I needed just kindness, nothing else. Not that the world was cruel, but the situations were bad. And if somebody just was kind, was allowing me to come in, was allowing me to express my friendliness, was allowing me to show my intimacy, because I had known her earlier. And there was no barrier between. And probably that made me feel more peaceful. So this is what probably Guru gives. The moment you give, that Guru says, all right, you're mine. And the moment they say you're mine, I think you get enough strength to deal with situations. They don't deal with your situations, they help you to deal with them. Guru helps you to deal with them. It's a very beautiful journey. The first advantage, on physical level you become fit, in emotional level you get focused, your problems get focused to just one or two. Most of the problems feel that, all right, this is not so important, that is not so important. And you can sort of delete them. And then you get focused to just a few needs. And then the intellectual pursuit starts growing so much that the emotional problems start fading because the intellectual pursuit grows. And then intellectual pursuit helps you to become so socially lovable and kind and everything that you start, even that pursuit probably is not needed. It is not needed. It comes in whenever you need. If you need to answer a question, the knowledge just flows to you. The knowledge flows to you. The nature gives all the best of its treasures to you as you need it. And the nature is kind along with the God. The Guru is kind and therefore the nature is kind. Could you relate some advantages of meditation? First, we can find all solutions to our problems. If ever there is